In closing, Mr. Speaker, religious freedom is a foundation necessary, I believe, for any democracy. It's a freedom we here in America can enjoy, and frankly, it's embedded so deeply in our culture that many of us tend to take these freedoms for granted. But unfortunately, this same scenario does not exist around this globe, and I just have to tell you, Turkey has been identified on the Religious Freedom Watch list for 3 straight years. I wish that weren't the case, but it is. And frankly, I believe that what progress has comes at least in part due to this type of pressure from religious freedom reports or from resolutions. The U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom allows us to gather nonpartisan information on countries that violate these fundamental human rights. And it's my understanding that in 2008, the government of Turkey claimed they would return confiscated properties, but out of 1,400 claims, less than 100 were approved. Now, we have close relations with Turkey. We have common interests. And this is a friendly urging that it do more on this important issue, and frankly, one that Turkey itself has committed to improving on. But that said, with some of the statements made here today, I have to comment on an issue of which I have some personal knowledge or memory. When I was a young boy, I remember very well an Armenian in my community, a very elderly Armenian, who was the sole Armenian in his village to survive the Armenian Genocide. And the reason he survived was because one of his neighbors hid him. And he told me the story of the atrocities that occurred there. Now, for our ambassador, Henry Morgenthau, who detailed what was going on while he was ambassador to the Ottoman Empire, this was not something that happened in theory. It was a genocide that cost 1.5 million human lives. And the fact that even today Turkey does not acknowledge the existence of that Armenian genocide in the Ottoman Empire, I think should still give us pause. When we're dealing with the remnants of the population of what was once a sizable percentage of the population of that area, when we're dealing with the question of what remains, 1% Greek and Armenian heritage and ethnicity that remains in Turkey today, I think it is only proper that when we have this kind of report that comes back to us from the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, and it details the fact that for 3 years running, rather than make progress, we've seen backsliding. I think it is time for this body to take the position and send the message. Return that confiscated property to its rightful owners. Allow that small minority that remains, that wants to practice their faith, allow them to practice their faith. Allow them to continue in their schools so that the next generation that wishes to follow in that tradition can do so. That's the request here.